city drowning in God's black tea.
Now talking about users feedback, don't you think a big open beta like Bungie usually does, for example with Halo Reach, would be good to figure out issues or things that the users notice and well, a way to fix it before the game gets released?
Yep. Straight out of the box, Gears of War 2's multiplayer in regards to matchmaking was very, very clunky and very, very seldom worked. That's something we take very, very seriously and we feel very, very bad about. We have continued to refine that as well as the online play in regards to improving the performance and tweaking and getting rid of bugs and things like that. We have Title Update 6 that's coming through, still supporting Gears of War 2 right now, by the way, even though we're announcing Gears of War 3, so we very much stand behind our products. In regards to what gamers want and giving them what they want, I think, looking at the double-barrel shotgun, looking at female gears, looking at bringing back old maps. I can't confirm any, but I can confirm you will see some favorites returning that you hadn't seen in Gears of War 2, as well as just kind of wrapping up the trilogy and having something that gamers feel satisfied with when they finish and giving them essentially what they want, because they are ultimately your ultimate fans and they're the ones who are paying for the game.
What are the forums about the complaints of the users online, playing online, and the most popular seems to be lag in the servers when Europeans play with Americans? Figure out a way to fix it?
Well, so lag is always a concern with any online experience. We have a number of things we're looking to use to improve the Gears experience. The first thing we're going to do is have better region filtering. The fundamental catch-22 of allowing people to play with people in other countries is you either allow them to play so that somebody who's in, for example, New Zealand or whatever can connect to somebody who's in England or something. If you're that guy in New Zealand and you're not allowed to do that, you have nobody to play with, because the user base is often so small in a place like that, right? So we have to find out the balance in that formula, that magic special sauce of what's the pool that we allow players to play with. We definitely want to improve the players' ability to play with their friends and stick together in a party. We haven't announced how we're doing that yet, but we do definitely have plans for that.
In the Horde, the level is 4-player cooperative mode during Gears 2 was great, was actually incredibly fun. The thing is that, don't you miss story mode for 4 players?
Yeah, well, I can confirm today that we are doing 4-player co-op in the story mode. So, with Gears, it's not the same as other games, because in Gears you're getting a story-based mode, whereas when you play Gears 1 and 2, player 1 is Marcus, player 2 is Dom. The only way to play as Dom in the campaign is to be player 2. That cascades down to players 3 and players 4. So if you want to play as Cole or Baird in the campaign, the only way you can do that is by playing 3 or 4 player co-op. And one of the other things we're doing in the campaign that's very cool is switching up the story a little bit. At some point in the campaign, you're not going to be Marcus and Dom. You're going to be another squad, and you're going to experience their section, and then eventually you're going to see some overlap, and eventually they'll merge kind of Pulp Fiction style, which is one of the cool ways that we're playing with the story this time.
Right. So talking about the Unreal Engine 3, which technical upgrade are you having in Gears of War 3?
Well, the biggest change that we're continuing to improve the engine with is global illumination. You can see the lighting in Gears 2 is good, but we felt like we could really bring it to the next level to have better balanced lights, to have kind of a better ambient light. And when you see the environments and you can see how the textures kind of pop and come to life, it really makes a huge difference. There's also all sorts of other things we're adding in to increase kind of the color depth in regards to allowing a better post-processing tweaking from the artists, better tools to improve the the workflow for the artists, as well as continued optimizations to further squeak out more performance out of the 360. When you look at the console life cycle, for instance, on the Super Nintendo, the games that were out early looked great, but as you got later in the life cycle, you're like, oh my god, I can't believe this is possible with the system. It's our job as developers to solve the puzzle, to work with what we've been giving in regards to the limited hardware spec of a console, and figure out how to make the game shine within that space.
Do you think you can push the 360 hardware farther?
I assure you that when you see the real-time gameplay that we are doing in Gears of War 3, that it looks very, very great and looks even better than Gears 2 did. So yeah, we're pushing it.
The game was announced for April 2011, if that's correct. I think it initially was expected, or everybody was expecting it for Christmas this year. So did you have a special reason to move it to spring break?
Well, I think if you look at the way that the video game industry traditionally has panned out in regards to release dates, holiday has become just a total traffic jam. Everybody's trying to cram their games out, and it has taken a couple previous holidays of games that would have potentially done well that didn't match up to expectations because of the sheer congestion in that time space to force spring to be the new fall. So recently you saw, Mass Effect 2, for example, come out in spring and do very, very well, and suddenly the publishers are like, wait, you mean to tell me if we put out a game and we market it in spring, gamers will buy it? And yes, turns out that's the case. And so the beauty of this is that by moving the game out to April, we can have a little bit of extra time to polish the game, to have the ultimate conclusion to the trilogy that is the most fun, the best looking, and hands down the most polished Gears game released yet.
This motto you had about Gears of War 2, bigger, better, and more badass, when you announced it, what would be the motto for Gears 3?
I haven't come up with anything witty to kind of summarize Gears of War 3, because in hindsight, I think the bigger, better, more badass thing was a little played out, right? It got the job done, but it got overused, right? Like I said, this is going to be the most fun, the best told story in the Gears universe, the best looking, and the most refined Gears experience to date.